We're coming back to you live from our bedrooms. I'm Shaw.
And I'm Zach. I want you to know that was a glorious robotic intro. I loved every moment of it.
Yeah, great. I'm glad. This episode looks like it's gonna be just really bad connection.
I mean, when have we ever been known for our quality? Let's be honest.
Let me think. Oh wait, never. I remember
Exactly.
now.
Like, we don't even care.
We don't even care about you.
I mean,
yeah.
We care a little bit, Sean.
Who? You? Me? What?
We both have to care a little bit because they give us the YouTube money.
I don't care about them. I'm just
care about their money.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I don't even need their money, but I accept it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Good
This
talk.
pop-up. This pop-up just came up that says, "Got background noise? While speaking, suppress background noise and showcase your wonderful voice."
Well, give it a shot, Sean. Let's hear it out. We'll do a live test of this feature.
Do I have background noise?
No. Do I?
No. I mean,
Oh.
unless you're typing.
Oh, here we go. ASMR with Zach's typewriter.
Hello, ladies. He's writing you a letter through time and space to tell you about his love. Now, everybody better be ready for what might be a robot voice ASMR.
No, it's actually pretty good.
Oh, cool. Wow. How about that? I feel excited about that. Do you feel excited about that?
Dude,
Zach?
I'm so excited about that. You have no
Wow.
idea.
Did you pee your pants yet?
I mean, close.
Ooh, what else do I need to do to get that going?
Well, I mean, I can't just say that out loud. Oh my goodness, Sean. So inappropriate.
Just give you more water, probably? Right.
That would do it.
And keep a toilet away from you? And force
Sean,
duct tape your pants
the
up.
world is my toilet.
Right, so duct tape your pants up and your zipper closed.
Oh shoot! There it is. I'm screwed.
It's unbeatable. So yesterday, I was in a call with some classmates. We were doing a quiz together because that's the way it's done.
Cute.
And my chair squeaks. I don't know if you can hear it.
A little bit.
It's not doing it very loudly. Sometimes it's like crazy loud. It was crazy loud last night. But like, so we're just going along, and all of a sudden, one of them's like, "Do either of you have a younger sibling?" And I was like, I had no idea where this was coming from. I'm like, "No." Well, yeah, but she's like 18, and the other girl's like, "No." And she's like, "It just sounds like there's like a little kid." I'm like, and I didn't say anything, but I'm like, "Man, that is my chair." That's good stuff.
That is
man.
amazing.
I got the chair squeak for days. We got the chair squeak. Ooh, ooh. It's not squeaking. Gosh dang it.
What you wanted to squeak? Of course, it doesn't squeak.
Of course, man.
But in like an
Well, it doesn't
awkward
want to
silence, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
So Sean,
Gosh dang it.
did you have anything you wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, sort of. Maybe. Yeah.
I can tell a whole lot of thought went into this.
This thought. Here, let me do this a little better. This thought is brought to you by 2 a.m. Sean, and from viewers like you. Thank you.
I'm so excited for this thought now.
This thought is brought to you by some faceless megacorp whose whose logo is just a bunch of hills. Anyways, yeah, so this thought came to me just this morning at 2 a.m.
Sean, all good thoughts come at 2 a.m.
So let me hit you with the background on this.
All right.
I was watching the show Community. You don't know what that is.
No, I don't.
Which is a bummer. It's a good show. That was on like in the 2010s. I can say that now.
Wow. Whew.
Yeah. So like a good
Way
10 years
back
ago,
in the
it was-
dark ages.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it then because I was young. But I'm getting into it now. It's pretty fun. It's very meta humor, which I'm into. Anyways, this episode featured two of the main characters. One, his name is Jeff, and he's like a lawyer. And his main personality trait is just like he uses people to get what he wants. And basically the entire first season.
Just like Sean.
Yeah, exactly. So the whole first season is basically just him learning how to work better with people, and the show's about, it's called Community because they're at a community college and they're like a study group.
Okay.
So he used to be a lawyer. He got fired because he didn't have a real degree. So he went to community college to get a degree, and he's just trying to blow off all the classes as quickly as possible to get back to his real job. And so the whole first season is just him learning what it's like to be a friend and just stuff like that. So he's still kind of a douche, but he like cares about his friends basically at this point.
Okay.
The other person in the scenario, his name is Abed. He in the show he has Asperger's, which is a form of autism.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very high functioning, but he really doesn't understand people at all. So a lot of times he's just kind of sitting in the background observing them. And then the way he has come to kind of understand people is through TV and movies. So he just constantly makes references. That's his whole thing. He talks about how what's happening is like they were in a TV show or like specific episodes, which is where the meta humor comes in.
Okay.
Because obviously it is a TV show.
It is. That's real life, Sean. I know it's
Yeah.
real life.
Anyways, so this episode, it's Abed's birthday, and Jeff is supposed to take him to a surprise party being held by the rest of the study group where they're all dressed like Pulp Fiction and they're going to have a Pulp Fiction birthday. But Abed has a meet at this really classy restaurant, and he sits down and he starts talking to Jeff, and he's like making eye contact. He's not acting like Abed. He's acting like an extroverted, real human being.
Okay.
And Jeff is just super weirded out. He's really concerned because earlier in the season, the Christmas episode, Abed sees everyone as stop motion, and the whole episode is in stop motion, but only Abed can see it. So everyone thinks Abed is just having like a psychological breakdown, basically. So he's like concerned about Abed, because Abed's suddenly acting not like Abed. And Abed tells this huge story where he got to go on the set of his favorite show, and he got to be one of the extras, and he created this entire character while they were filming the extra, or while they were filming the scene. And then as soon as they called cut, that character died because he no longer existed. And Abed realized that he really wasn't anyone. He was just a bunch of references. And so he wanted to become someone. So he'd taken Jeff to this restaurant, and he said, I will not yet let you leave here until we have a real conversation. Which is a problem for Jeff because Jeff is very, he doesn't really like sharing his feelings. He just likes getting what he wants.
Right.
So basically, to sum it all up, by the end, Jeff begins to try to have a real conversation. First, he tries to convince Abed that there's no such thing. That people are all just trying to get something out of all conversations, and that's what a conversation is. But by the end, he's literally sharing like deep personal things to him, and his phone is vibrating because his friends are all like, "Where are you guys at?" And he throws it in his drink because he just doesn't care anymore, and he's just like, he's really getting into it. He actually cares. But then the big twist is, Abed is referencing a movie that whole time.
No.
Called, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's My Dinner with Andre or something, where two guys go to a restaurant and have a conversation, basically.
Huh.
And so in digging for that deep, real conversation, Abed had created a fake conversation. So
Okay, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, that's the kind of weird meta humor you get from this show. But the question that came to my mind, and it was partially based on that conclusion, but also partially based on a lot of Jeff's comments, was what is a real conversation, and is there such a real thing? Is it? Yeah, I guess let's start there. Like, what do you think? What is a real conversation? What does it take? And is it possible to have such a thing?
Well, Sean, I've never had a real conversation with you, so I wouldn't be able to know.
Oh my gosh, this is our opportunity, Zach.
Oh my gosh. No! um, no. Oh, that's... Okay. I think... How do I phrase this? I feel like a lot of the times, we have fake conversations. And I think a lot of that is small talk, right?
Yes.
It's just, you're talking because you're expected to, but you don't care what they're saying, they don't care what you're saying. That's not a conversation.
Right.
Whereas, I think, it's so weird to say a conversation exists, but I feel like a real conversation just has to have meaning behind it, I guess. Not even a deep meaning, but there has to be some meaning in it.
Okay. That's interesting. So I like that you said it doesn't even have to be deep meaning. Because I feel like what was happening with Jeff was he was beginning to feel like a real conversation, because what he said was all conversation is fake. All people are essentially fake. We say things to get things out of other people, to get what we want,
Mm-hmm.
to get an emotional response, to make ourselves feel better. And I can totally see that. And that's why I kind of ask, like, is there such a thing as a real conversation? Because like, even if, like, let's say you go to a close friend to talk about something difficult, right? To talk about something that is really tough for you, and you're seeking, that friend because you've worked with them out with a lot of things out with them, and they've been there for you a lot.
Right.
The goal of that conversation is still essentially, I want to feel better. And so you're trying to get that out of someone, even though there's a lot of caring happening. Like, they essentially just want to feel better. So I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I mean, I think, even if you want something from the conversation, it can still be a conversation. I don't think because you want a specific outcome from it doesn't stop it from being one.
Mm. A lot of where my thought process for this was going was like, was going into real conversation and then who you are really as a person.
Okay.
Because I would say small talk Sean, who is not good at small talk, but small talk Sean is not the real Sean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a face I put on to, like, deal with specific situations that I don't really want to be in.
Right.
At the same time, is, let's say, is Sean on the co-host of Spicy Nuggs? Is that the real Sean? Is this like a real, because I feel like we've had a lot of real conversations on this show, but there's kind of a paradox there where it's like we're also creating a show.
I think you can't look at one aspect of yourself and say, is this the real me? Because I think part of you is in everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you can't just say, oh, when I'm like this, that's me. Because, like, even, like, when you're, say, recording Spicy Nugs, so even when you're doing small talk, that's coming from somewhere within you, right? So I feel like even where you think there's not, even when there's a mask, I guess, part of you's still there.
That's interesting. So even when there's a mask, something of you is coming out.
Yeah. So, like, I kind of had an example of this from yesterday. Yesterday I had a meeting with the speech lab to just do a practice run of my persuasive speech, and holy crap, was I nervous! But I couldn't see them, and so because it was just a Skype call, I'm really good at, like, pretending I'm confident in like giving a speech or something like that. But in reality, I'm really not. And then afterwards, she was saying, "Wow, that was a really." She said, "That's a really good speech. And you sounded like you were really confident and you knew what you were talking about, and that's really good." And my first thought was, "Well, I'm glad that's what she thinks because because holy crap." And then she just like, and then from there, I feel like we talked, but there wasn't a conversation. It was just I feel like it was small talk after that. It was like, oh, that was really good. Maybe this could be improved, blah, blah, blah. And it was just nodding your head. Uh-huh. Okay, thank you. Awesome.
Right.
And I feel like there was there was no conversation there. It was just what we both expected from the other person.
Hmm. Interesting.
And so did I get anything real from that? I mean, I got to practice my speech, but that was about it.
Huh. I like that concept of you got what you expected. So then in that case, it's not even just that you got what you're expecting, because like I can go into this show and I kind of know what to expect at this point. We've done like over 50 episodes.
That's really weird to think
Right.
about. Yeah.
Right? Crazy. But like we both kind of know what's going on at this point. But like we could still have a real conversation. So it's not just that like you don't know what's going to happen. It's got to be like the intent behind it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like a lot of um, our actions and what we say comes from what we expect of other people and what we assume they expect of us.
Hmm.
And so, in that situation, I don't think like neither of us were expecting to have a real conversation. I don't think it was just, hey, like from my point of view, it's like I have this is a requirement to go to the speech lab, and I'm gonna give my speech, and if I get some feedback, that's gonna be great, and that's it. And from their point of view, it's their job, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I keep going back to like what I said earlier. Was I feel like a conversation has to have a meaning to it. Not even a deep meaning. It could be a stupid, silly meaning, but as long as it's there, it's real.
I really like that. There's got to be some kind of intent and not just purpose, but like maybe like it's in the caring about what's going on. It's about caring about the other person for who they are versus just like getting the job done or any other thing. Does that seem reasonable, I guess?
Yeah. So although I do have a question regarding that.
Yeah.
A lot of times we will if say we believe something, I forget what it's called, but like you'll go to people who think the same thing and like ask them for what they think, but you know what they're gonna say, so you're just like
That is
validating
called
yourself.
groupthink, my friends.
And do you think that would count as a conversation?
That's a really good question.
Because there is a meaning behind it. You want someone to agree with you. That's like you want to feel better about what you think, I guess, right? So there is some meaning in there, but at the same time, you already know what the outcome's going to be.
See, that's going back to like kind of what I was presenting before. I guess I didn't present it in the best way, but just like because everyone's trying to get something out of a conversation. I feel like that much is true.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a purpose for why we are communicating. Like in that case, it feels wrong in that it feels like they're just kind of self-serving their own interests just to make themselves feel better and not to really grow, even if they're right, because they could be right in this situation. You didn't specify or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it just feels wrong because they're not really trying to get new information. They're just trying to make themselves feel better.
See, that's why I asked it, because, like, from what we have gotten so far is a conversation has to have some sort of meaning, and it can have, like, a want, like, something you want to get out from it, right? But in that situation, it has both of those. So what you're saying is it needs to have something else.
Yeah. It's interesting because it compares directly to that episode of Community, because in the end, they find out this entire real conversation they've been having, Abed set it up to be because he wanted, and in the end, it turns out that the reason Abed did this is he felt like him and Jeff had been pulling apart. And so he wanted to reconnect with Jeff, so he did it the only way he knew how, which was in the way of a movie, and how that worked out in the movie. And then he got much more than he ever anticipated from Jeff, and it kind of freaked him out.
Right.
So like, sorry, go ahead.
We're getting a little close to time, but yeah. I do have one more question I want to ask.
Please.
Does a conversation have to have two people? And what I mean by that is not just talking to yourself, but like, can one person have a conversation with someone else while the other person is not having that conversation? It's like, say I'm talking to you. Can I have a conversation with you, but you're not having one with me, even though we're talking to each other?
So I think that's difficult, because I think it can happen, but I think eventually the person having the conversation will notice the lack from the other person, and it will end the conversation for the other person, or it will meet the whole point. And so that the person who was having the conversation, even if it had been good for them up to that point, and then they realize that person is not engaged, it will make everything that has happened beforehand not.
Wow. That last like 2 words was just complete static. Do you want to say it one more time for the people?
I was just saying that I think if the person having the conversation, even if they're having a good time the whole time and it's very important for them, but they realize at the very end that that person is not engaged, it can eliminate all the good that was done in that whole conversation.
Okay. Interesting. I still have like a lot more thoughts, but we are out of time, so.
Well, there you go.
Tell us what you guys think about conversations and why we're wrong.
Yay!
The usual.
The great part about this is, you and I, we just said multiple times that we feel like we have real conversations in these episodes, when we both know that we're just exploiting everyone for their money.
Sean! We've already said that so much. Like the people know now. It's too late. Like it's over.
So
the plan's
that's
ruined.
another interesting thing. If a person is very upfront about being malicious in the conversation, somehow that makes it all right.
I don't know about that one.
Well, anyways, yeah, leave us your thoughts and your comments, and if you care to, whatever. We don't care.
I care.
Zach cares, but he doesn't look at the comments, so
yeah,
he doesn't
I don't care that much. I care a little bit, but.
Thank you all so much for joining us. I'm still Sean.
And I'm still Zach.
And we will see you in the next episode.
Speaking, everybody loves to speaking, everybody loves to speak.
Did you deserve it?
What the? Of course I deserved it, but that's not the point.
I'm just saying, Sean, if you deserved it, then...
What the? Zach,
I can't help you there.
Be on my side. You're supposed to be on my side about this.
I'm on my side. I'm on no one's side.
What kind of a friend are you, huh? What
Obviously not a very good one. Use your words.
Bananas.
You got me. I guess I'm on your side now. Bananas, man. So Sean, how's it going?
Yeah.
Now that that's over.
Now that that's out of the way, we can get down to the nitty-gritty business.
Oh my.
Zach,
Yes,
do
Sean.
you want to explain those texts sent 3 nights ago?
No.
I think you were drunk.
I was only drunk on your love.
So
The best part is, we have no text 3 nights ago. I cry every time. I lay awake all night long just waiting for a text from Sean. Every night!
Guys.
And it never comes.
Like if you cry ever, Tim.
Press F to pay respects.
I want this comment section to be full of Fs. I also assume it will only be Corby that does that.
It's better than nothing, am I right? I'll just
If
spam
he indeed
Corby
listens
saying,
to
we need your help. Spam F. We'll have 100 comments all from
Anyways.
Corby.
I assume we've been recording this whole time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, that last statement wouldn't make very much sense.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been going the whole time. I'm on top of my game now, Sean. I'm ready every time. I'm freaking ready, dude.
Oh, okay, cool. Your voice
are you
keeps
ready?
cutting out a lot, so it sounded like you were like, "I'm on top of my gay right now."
Well, actually, it's your voice that's cutting out. So, what's the truth, Sean?
Oof, should we wait a bit to start the episode because like connection's bad?
I mean, is your internet gonna get better anytime soon?